It's your summer. What the bird is barbecuing.
G'day jabronis, it is the Verd, back with you again. Welcome to our Week 5 preparation video for the Pokemon Masters Cup. Your Tambay Frogadiers currently on a bit of a roll. We're currently 4-0, plus 12 differential, and we're already a win ahead of anybody else in our division now. Currently as it stands though, our division is in a bit of an awkward situation. You see, due to wildcards, basically the top finishers from each division, then the 3 next best finishers from the conference go through. So as it stands, myself and D-Pad are both at 4-0. So I'm gonna do that a lot. I don't mean to, it's because I have hay fever. Really hope that this helped. Or is it gonna lead to me like sneezing all the time now? I really don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, D-Pad and myself are both currently 4 wins, no losses. Next closest to us is currently both CJ and Ossiel, who are both at 3-1. J-Specs is at 2-2, and then the next closest to that is Kyle, who's currently at 1-3. Now Kyle and D-Pad play this week. It's a huge match. If D-Pad can beat him, and then I can beat CJ, it basically means that I am like 4 wins ahead of missing out on playoffs, which is huge because this is week 5. There's only 7 more weeks after this, which basically means all I really need to do at this point is just keep on winning my matches, and I'm going to clinch a playoff spot, which is fantastic. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to get to at least the halfway point undefeated if I can. In order to do that, though, I've got 2 big battles, and this is the first one of them. It's my final first round divisional matches against CJ, Choice to CJ, and the Baltimore Oriolus, and this is going to be a doozy. CJ and I have always wanted to play each other in league format, and now we're finally going to get the chance, and I'm excited, terrified, but excited. So, as always, I'm going to basically explain what the hell this team is that I've brought, why I've brought everything, the kind of thought process of it, into it, and we're going to go from there. So, brace yourselves. Let's begin. I feel like the webcam is up a bit too tall. Can I just bring this down a little bit? Probably go down a little bit more. Maybe I can just sit up a bit taller. Oh. Yeah, that's wait, sort myself. That's better. Okay, so anyway, breaking into the team. CJ had a very, very, very scary lineup. It's not overly, I don't know. It's a very mixed match team, but there are a lot of big threats, and this team is designed to basically deal with every single one of them. Some better than others, but I definitely feel like the balance is here, and I definitely feel like this team could definitely put in a lot of work, throw a spanner in the works for CJ, and hopefully we'll get us our 5th win of the season. So let's break it down. First off, we have good old Gobbledygook. Cresselia just matches up really nicely against CJ's team. He has only one way to realistically, he has 2 Pokemon that stop Cresselia. Those Pokemon are Spiritomb and Mega Steelix. As you can see, this Cresselia set doesn't exactly deal with either of them that fine, but actually with the Ice Beam, I can actually deal with a non-curse Mega Steelix just fine. It's not an issue at all, actually. So that's fine. I can't deal with Spiritomb too well, but I have a plan for Spiritomb, as you'll see later on. I definitely have a effective way of shutting that thing down. So basically the game plan though with this Cresselia, as you can see, it has safety goals. Reason for that is because I'm not expecting CJ to bring Breloom. Honestly, if you think about it, Breloom doesn't match up great against my team. I have a Skarmory, I have a Cresselia, I have a Tangrowth, but I need to bring safety goals on the off chance CJ does bring the... This camera is starting to piss me off. On the off chance that CJ does decide to want to bring his Breloom, because I'm going to need a way to have to deal with these goddamn Sporers, so this is my best bet. Obviously I don't want to get knocked off, it could potentially happen, but let's hope it doesn't happen. I want to lift this up. I'm so picky with my camera. That'll do. Okay. So basically, Carmine, Moonlight, Ice Beam, Slash Rock, pretty standard moveset. I really wanted to run the Rest Talk set again. But since he has words are hard. Since he has a Spiritomb and a Steelix, it's not really ideal for me. And this moveset basically deals with a lot of his threats. This thing is my pseudo DD Ments check. Obviously I can fire off an Ice Beam. Pretty much sayonara that thing to hell. Ice Beam also hits the loom extra hard. I was initially running Moonblast over Ice Beam. The reason was because it would hit the Ments as well as the Spiritomb. So Spiritomb didn't wall me. But I reconsidered it and realized, you know what, I have enough ways already to deal with Spiritomb. I don't really need Cresselia to be able to deal with it too, so I decided to put it on the back burner. As Ice Beam, even to like a Spadef Spiritomb over time, is going to wear it down, so it's all good in the hood. Basically, this thing, like I said, also deals with things like the Ments. It could also... it's a semi-Steelix check. Like I said, it's going to be annoying if I go up against... sorry about that. It's going to be annoying if I go up against the Curse Steelix. I do have ways to deal with that though, but it still will be just an annoying one in general to have to take on. Next up, we have a debutante this week for the Tampa Bay Frogadiers. In my free agent transactions, as you guys would know by now from a video, I actually did free agent transactions for Heatran, Aselgor, and Braviary in order to get Skarmory, Pyroar, and Tyrantrum. Now, Pyroar and Tyrantrum are coming this week. That's fine. Beth Phoenix is going to be here. She's making her debut, and as you can see, she is a pretty groovy little set. It's a bit of a weird one, but it actually works out really nicely for me. So, this thing is designed to basically take on Sylveon. Sylveon is an annoying Pokemon for my team. I do have 2 Poison types, which is fantastic. That's great. But at the same time, this is also a semi-check to a lot of things. This does have a specific purpose on the Skarmory. I kind of want to break that down first for you guys. So, obviously I have Sturdy, which is phenomenal. But the main plan with this Skarmory is, I don't want to I don't want to allow his Volcarona to just be able to come in and set up in my face. Now, obviously I have a Lantern, which is really nice. But what I can do with Skarmory is, if Skarmory is in and has full health, obviously I have Sturdy, which is great. But if I don't have Sturdy, he might try and take advantage of that and be like, haha, time for me to go for a Fire Blast and destroy this Skarmory. But with my Ockerberry, I will live. I can fire off a Brave Bird and kill this Volcarona. Now, Volcarona, if you guys don't know, is the biggest threat to my team. I actually don't have a decent Volcarona check on my team. Like, truth be told, I've done a lot of work on that, and there's not really a Pokemon in general that deals with Volcarona that great. So, my basic plan was saying, well, I'm going to try and put myself in a position where Volcarona can't just come in every single time and sweep my team. Like, against Cresselia, yeah, it can come in, but I definitely have a few more switch-ins against Cresselia than I do against Skarmory, because obviously Lantern can come in on a Fire Blast, and that's great, but then what the hell is Lantern doing after that? So, definitely, I wanted to put myself in a position where if he was going to go for the Fire Dance or the Fire Blast, I would punish him for that with my Ockerberry. It also does double time, though. If I get rid of the Volcarona in other ways, it'll allow me to take a Heat Wave from a Tornadus Therian. It'll allow me to take a Choice Specs Hidden Power Fire from Sylveon. It's definitely just a really nice tech item for my Skarmory to have. I have the Brave Bird plus Iron Head. It's just really nice dual stab here in this matchup. Roost, because I want to be able to keep that longevity. And the Rocks, which are very important because he has 1 Spinner in Tentacruel and he has 1 Defogger and Salamence. I really don't expect Defog Salamence. I don't see any reason why he should bring it. He would be better off with like DD or Life Orb or something stupid. This also does check Life Orb Ments if it decides to be like the one that drops Dracos and whatnot. It can deal with that quite nicely if he goes for Flamethrower. I can eat that up with the Ockerberry and get off a Roost, not a big deal. I can get my Rocks up and jazz, so it's not... I'm not really too worried about that matchup, because also Crest can actually just deal with Special Ments just fine by itself. But now we're going to get into a bit more of the diverse sets. So these sets have already been like... Cresselia is pretty standard. Skarmory is a little bit different, but now we're going to get into some obscure shit. So this Gengar is a bit weird. And I've definitely wanted to show that Gengar is not just a one-trick pony. It's not just a Life Orb attacker. You slap a Life Orb on it, or you slap, Focus Sash or something and do like shenanigans. I've decided to bring another Coldberry Gengar, but this time it has a very specific purpose. This Gengar is literally designed to counter what CJ is going to bring to counter my Gengar. CJ has a Spiritomb on his team. Now, if you guys would know anything about me from last season, the PMC, one Spiritomb set that I used effectively in 2 of my battles was a Pursuit Sucker Punch set. The basic premise was your opponent has a bulky Psychic or a bulky Ghost, just has a Psychic or Ghost type. You send in Spiritomb, you go for the Pursuit straight away. If they stay in and then see the Pursuit, they're going to stay in and probably try to attack you. You follow it up with a Sucker Punch and you take them out. That's pretty much how it goes. So my premise here is saying, okay, I'm going to put myself in a position where Spiritomb, if it traps me, is going to regret that till the day that it dies. So this Gengar, basically, when it comes in against one of my opponents, my basic thing is I'm going to be clicking Willow or Sludge Bomb. Against the majority of CJ's team, that is a perfectly good play. Sludge Bomb is going to destroy a lot of his team. Willis is fantastic too against the majority of his team. Now, Pain Split is there. I'll kind of explain Pain Split there. The reason why I have Hex over Shadow Ball. So the thing is, with Sludge Bomb having a high poison chance, as well as Willis obviously having the chance to burn, Hex makes a hell of a lot more sense for my Gengar here. If I'm able to burn this Spiritomb, even with 36 special attack investment, a Spiritomb is not going to be able to break me down. I can easily break it down before it's going to be able to break me, because it's going to be burned, because I have so much HP investment. But you're probably thinking, oh, Vern, but your Gengar's going to take all this damage, and then something's going to come in afterwards and revenge kill. Well, that could be true if they outspeed me. If they don't outspeed me, I can go for the Pain Split and get all my health back. And this is the other reason why I have a bulky Gengar, guys. It is also designed as a double roll kind of function to counter Rapid Spin Tentacruel. So basically, if Tentacruel comes in after I set up rocks, he's going to want to try and Rapid Spin. And the thing is, if Gengar comes in, he'll probably just still go for the Rapid Spin because, you know, if Gengar comes in, it's a risk. And then he might fire off the knockoff. If he fires off the knockoff and I go for Willow, that's pretty nice for me because I can easily take that knockoff, no sweat. And then I can fire off Hexes until the cows come home. He only has one way of clearing status, and that is his Sylveon. And this team pressures the absolute crap out of Sylveon. Absolute crap out of it. And Gengar can be pretty healthy, like I said, by Pain Split. The combination of Sludge Bomb plus Hex rips apart CJ's team. Its basic design, as I said, is to not only stop the Tentacruel from being able to spin away those hazards so that Volcarona and Mence get hurt a lot, but it's also designed to make sure that Spiritomb doesn't trap me, and I actually make Spiritomb's life a living hell instead. So that's really nice. I like that a lot. Next up, we have a really cool Nidoqueen set. So the basic premise of this Nidoqueen was that I wanted a solid way to deal with Volcarona, pretty much in most situations. So the most situations that I'm referring to, so my Absol could just go for knockoff, which is great, but Volcarona's best bet is just going for the Quiver Dance or for the Bug Buzz there, so Nidoqueen comes in quite fine with the Assault Vest. Volcarona could go for the Bug Buzz on my Cresselia. Again, I can just go into Nidoqueen, that's fine. Now, one big issue is the potential for Volcarona to be a Quiver Dance set with Psychic, but he would have to be Modest Life Orb in order to have a chance to kill this Nidoqueen spread, which is fantastic. I decided to run Nidoqueen Physical because, as you can see from my team, I have a Special Attacker in Cress and Gengar and Lantern, so it made more sense for me to run this thing Physical to match up. It also is really nice because obviously CJ has the Tentacruel, which could potentially be specially defensive to try and take a hit from this Nidoqueen, and it's going to get a Rude Awakening when it doesn't. The moveset itself, Poison Jab and Earthquake, is just fantastic stab. Rock Slide is there so I can easily Oko the Volcarona and get that thing off my field as soon as possible. That thing is just going to be annoying. The sooner I can get rid of it, the better my life is going to be. And the last move is actually a really nice tech in Super Fang. The reason why I brought in Super Fang was because this Nidoqueen actually doesn't hit his Steelix very hard. Earthquake is actually going to be doing negligible damage because Steelix's defense is ridiculous. But with Super Fang, if he is not a Rest Talk set, I can easily wear down the Steelix. And the reason why Mega Steelix is such a big factor here, guys, is because Mega Steelix really, relatively, on CJ's team, is his only check to Mega Absol. Potentially a Defensive Breloom could be a check too, but I'm not really worried about Defensive Breloom as I do have a Cresselia plus a Skarmory plus a Gengar. Because if he turns out to be a Toxic Loom instead of Spore, my Gengar absolutely walls the crap out of that Breloom. So that's really important to keep an eye on. Anyway, so Super Fang's really nice because it'll weaken that Steelix to the point where Mega Absol can just start wreaking havoc on my opponent's team. But Nidoqueen this time is not going to be my lead. No, my dedicated lead actually against CJ this week is going to be my Modest Choice Scarfed Lantern. I know what you're thinking, Verd, what the hell is this set? Let me explain. With a Modest Choice Scarf, Lantern actually outspeeds everything on CJ's team except for Tornadus, which is stupid. It's a Lantern. It should not be able to do these things, and yet it is doing these things. Because level 50 is a weird thing, Lantern actually gets an extra 59.5 speed investment, which means he goes to 178.5, which allows it to just outspeed Cryogonal and outspeed all of his base 100s. Base 100s that include Volcarona and Salamence. Why is this important, you might be thinking? Well, Modest Ice Beam is going to make Salamence Lantern's bitch. Furthermore, the Hydro Pump is going to pretty much OHKO any Volcarona set that isn't Pasho Berry or is running a bit of bulk. And basically, by weakening the Volcarona that much, it's going to put it into Sucker Punch range from Absol, and just in general, it's not going to be as much of a threat to my squad. So, that's really awesome in that retrospect too. And like, this thing just matches up so nicely. It hits Tentacruel, it can 2 KO, especially defensive Tentacruel. So if he just has to run physically defensive for some reason, this can pretty much bop it turn 1, which is ridiculous. I'm running T-Ball plus Volt Switch because he does have the ground type and the Steelix, but I feel like Steelix is not the best Pokemon to bring it against Lantern. Just because like Lantern, if it gets the Scald Burn, it really shuts down Steelix. I feel like CJ's not going to play it that way. I can quite easily Volt Switch around my opponent's team freely, and having this thing in the back late game against things like the Tentacruel and the Mence, if they are not Scarfed, knowing that I outspeed them straight away is a really, really nice thing to have, and it's just I think it's going to catch him off guard early game. I think it's a really cool set, and definitely one that I'm keen to try out. I was tempted to actually bring Sugarberry Lantern instead, but I decided against it because if he led with Volcarona, which is a very scary reality, I do not want to allow him to get a free Quiver, which he pretty much would do. Obviously I could just Volt Switch, but it's just not worth it. So Scarf Lantern is going to be coming. I really want to see this set work because I definitely don't think CJ is going to predict this at all. It's really nice as well in a lead matchup against Loom because I can basically turn 1 go for the potential Volt Switch there. And the reason why that's really nice is because if he's a Sash Loom, I can break his Sash and go straight onto my Cresselia. But 9 times out of 10, I'm probably just going to click Ice Beam turn 1. The reason for that is because he knows that I have a Crest in the back to be able to deal with him. So he may try and go for something cheeky like the SD or whatnot, and then I can just easily counter that with switches and whatnot, or the fact that I outspeed him and can take a Mach Punch. So I definitely feel like this Lantern set is going to put in a lot more work than people expect, but you're going to have to wait and see, guys. And finishing off my team is my Mega Absol CM Punk. So I decided to go with a bit of a weird Mega Absol set here. It looks a bit odd, but it kind of makes sense. So attack should definitely make sense. Knockoff is amazing against CJ's team. Like, when I say amazing, I mean it's ridiculously good. Now, I was really tempted to bring this as also a special attacking Absol because the combination of Fire Blast and Ice Beam really dents his team, especially the Mega Steelix plus the Salamence. I decided against it because Player Off itself actually deals with the Salamence as well as dealing with the Spiritomb, and there's no point then teching on Fire Blast if it's only there for one Pokemon. Sucker Punch is a lot more reliable to be able to clean up things that might be able to outspeed Absol, like Immense that's already set up in my face. Iron Tail is there because Sylveon is a thing. Knockoff plus Iron Tail pretty much takes care of most Sylveon sets. However, if he's physically defensive, I need to play carefully around that, which is why I have a Gengar and a Skarmory on my team, even a Nidoqueen on my team. Like, I have so many ways to deal with Sylveon that I'm not really worried about it too much. The reason why I'm only running 140 speed with a Jolly Nature is because I can get away with it. Unfortunately, I cannot get away with an Adamant Mega Absol in this matchup. I will not outspeed... actually, yeah, no, I don't think it actually, would it outspeed base 100s? I think I already did this calc, but I'm just going to quickly double check. Pretty sure it doesn't outspeed base 100s. I believe base 100s hit 168, which is why that won't work. It is literally so close to working, but it just doesn't, unfortunately. So that's why I've been running it Jolly. Still, Jolly is great because I basically outspeed everything. I think I've EV'd this thing specifically so that... sorry. Okay, let me backtrack. With an Adamant Nature, it will speed time base 100s. That ain't a risk I'm willing to take. So I'm decided to go with Jolly just to speed creep the level 100s. Sorry, the base 100 speed. So you might be thinking, Verd, there's a Cryogonal on CJ's team. Surely you want to outspeed that thing. You would think so, but the thing is that Cryogonal can't really do anything to my Absol, because if you think about it, if it's dual screens, that's just silly against my team. Just to have a Skarmory and whatnot, like, doesn't make sense. If he has any kind of status move against me, I have Magic Bounce, so what do I care? So Sucker Punch is a lot better play for me in general, because I can easily bop that Snowflake in one shot. If the rocks are up and a potential Sash is broken, it's just going to die, or he's going to switch out and try and preserve it, God knows what. But Absol can definitely deal with it. Now, Absol is pretty much my late game cleaner. It's not necessarily a win con in the back. Crest with Carmine can be a win con. But this is definitely the late game cleaner for my team. It outspeeds, like I said, everything but the Taunty and the Cryogonal, but it's designed to deal with both of those because Sucker Punch is going to hurt both of them an incredible amount. And like I said, his only switch into knockoff. Retrospectively, his only good switch into knockoff is his Mega Steelix. Now, as I said with my Nidoqueen, if I am able to wear that thing down with moves such as like the Super Fang and whatnot, that is going to put me in a phenomenal position going into this battle, because if I can just get rid of that Mega Steelix, then Absol knockoff spam is going to be so annoying for CJ to deal with. His mons are going to be taking a ridiculous amount of damage. I can break through his walls so much more easily, and it'll set me up for a victory. I feel that I can deal with pretty much the majority of... I thought I heard my phone go off there, but it didn't. I feel like I can deal with the majority of threats that CJ brings in this matchup. I definitely think that it's going to be a tricky one, though, because the thing with CJ's team is it's not necessarily like he has the most predominant threats in the game. Far from it. It's more that CJ has what I would call an awkward threat. Volcarona and Breloom are two things that I would see as awkward threats because they aren't very common, so you're not like used to dealing with them all the time. And at the same time, they're kind of awkward against my team. Like, Breloom is a little bit scary because if he brings a Sword Stance Life Orb set, then Bullet Seed with the Technician boost is absolutely decimating most of my team. The fortunate thing is if he brings that kind of style set, Gengar can actually deal with it. And if he does bring his sub-toxic set, Gengar can deal with that. So there's definitely a lot of options. I feel like he actually might bring something like SD with Natural Gift Dark to be able to deal with the combination of Gengar plus Cresselia. Even if that happens, I definitely have a lot of ways to deal with it. And I think the other big problem is going to be that Volcarona. I just need to make sure I don't get crit or something by my Nidoqueen. That would really be unfortunate. But if I can keep my Sturdy with my Skarmory intact, I'll be in a really solid spot. Obviously, not really keen on him setting up rocks against me. But if you look at CJ's team, he actually doesn't have a lot of rock setters. Off the top of my head, actually, hold on, let me just quickly... I think I have his team up here. No, I don't. One quick sec. Yeah, his only Stealth Rock setters are the Mesprit and the Mega Steelix. Now, I don't expect Mesprit just because... Obviously, like I have ways to deal with Mesprit with the fact that I have a Cresselia on my team. Even Nidoqueen itself can take the Psychic or the Psy Shock quite nicely. Skarmory can take a T-Bolt. I have Lantern and shit in the back. I have Gengar that outspeeds it in general and can just go for Hex and blow it away. And of course I have the Absol. So I'm not really too worried about Mesprit. I feel like he won't bring it to this matchup. It just doesn't really go well against me. Even if he brought it Scarfed, he just loses to Cress. So what's the point? So I feel like if he's going to bring rocks, they're going to be on Mega Steelix. And the way I'm playing this team is that I want to shut that thing down. And I also want to shut down the fact that I don't want him getting up his rocks either. So definitely a lot to kind of soak into this, but basic premises, guys. I'm going to lead with Lantern, see if I can get a cheeky kill on something. He may even lead with Steelix turn 1, knowing he can take a Scald and try and kill me with EQ, and then I can just go for the Hydro Pump, and if I can kill Steelix turn 1, Mega Absol looks damn good for the rest of this matchup. Mega Absol is also phenomenal against Mesprit in general, because Mesprit can't really touch me move-wise, and it can't really set up hazards or, status while Mega Absol's around, so all he can really do is pivot and U-turn, and with the HP investment, I can actually take the U-turns a bit better than CJ's going to expect, so that's really nice. I really like this Nidoqueen set. I really dig the Super Fang. Super Fang plus EQ actually does a lot to the Mega Steelix, and so I really need to keep that in mind, because if I can put him in range of where I could probably kill him, because at the same time, he could bring a Spadef Mega Steelix. It makes a lot of sense if you think about his team. It is his best check with Spiritomb to my Cresselia. It would also allow him to potentially take a Focus Blast from my Gengar, so I definitely feel like that could be something that he could try and do, and if he leaves his defenses exposed, then a Nidoqueen may be able to take advantage. I really wanted to run Earth Power on this Nidoqueen, because obviously it would hit ridiculously harder, but at the same time, it doesn't hit Tentacruel as hard, and I want to be able to get rid of Tentacruel too. I don't want to allow that thing to just go around freely, do whatever it wants. If it tries to spin in my face, I will more than happily EQ it to hell and back, because Skarmory can set up rocks more than once in this game, most definitely, and I only realistically need the rocks for the Volcarona. So Volcarona is taken care of. Skarmory is a lot less of a liability. It's more of not really more of a liability, as in like I don't really need it around as much. I'm really hoping this Gengar set works. I really thought this through, because it makes a lot of sense for CJ to want to bring this Spiritomb to this matchup. It can trap and take care of the Cresselia, potentially. It can really hurt it. It can really hurt the Gengar, but it's going to do absolutely nothing to this Gengar, and he's going to realize that, and it's going to be phenomenal, because I can basically just go for Willow and shut it down, and then just start spamming Hex, And then, if he tries to weaken me, I have the Pain Split, which is phenomenal. I just love it. I think this... I really wish Gengar got Recover or something, but it doesn't. So it's like, this is the best I'm going to be able to do with it recovery-wise, but it's still going to be amazing. If I can burn a lot of the stuff on his team, since I said his only ways of healing his team is either the Healing Wish on Mesprit or the Heal Bell on Sylveon. And if Sylveon comes in, I have so many ways to pressure that thing, especially with Nidoqueen. If Nidoqueen can come in, it's another one of those Pokemon that really matches up well against CJ because it can actually hurt a lot of his team incredibly well. And I think that's going to be a really big factor in this battle too. I'm just really keen to see the kind of work that my team can put in. I think this is a really good team. Like, the thing is, I wanted to go with some out-of-the-box ideas because obviously first battle against CJ, I want to do my best to beat him, get to 5-0, which would be phenomenal. Because I know that in the rematch, we can definitely be a lot more creative with this team. This is definitely not the best that this team could be. I'm telling you right now, I could definitely think of a few other ideas that I could throw in to beat CJ. But like I've said, with my divisional matches, I'm not going to be throwing the kitchen sink at my opponent straight away. I'm just going to use some ideas that I know will work in this matchup. And then the second time around, I'm going to have the kind of, I guess, the air of doubt in CJ's mind saying, oh, is he going to bring this set again? Is he going to bring that set again? And that's when I can pounce with the real ideas that I want to throw at him. And hopefully that can lead to a result. It's definitely a lot of mind games when it comes to these divisional matches, guys. If it was just, my normal matches like against Kyle and Misty, I can easily be a bit more creative with those ones. That's fine. But in these ones, I have to play it smart. And in order to play it smart, I'm a bit more of a watered-down version of what I really want to bring against CJ. But I just hope this team can work. I think the sets are really cool. I think the concept of it is very different to what I would normally build. Like, me, I'm pretty all about that bulky offense, but this is bulky offense on another level. This is bulky offense where, you're expecting certain things and trying to take advantage of them. If he doesn't bring a Spiritomb, though, that's actually amazing for me, guys. Do you realize how amazing that is? Because if he doesn't bring Spiritomb, what on his team is actually stopping this Cresselia from sweeping him? Because obviously the Toxic would be annoying on a certain Pokemon, but in general, Cresselia is still going to hurt the shit out of something. And that just opens the door again for Absol. If I can weaken that Steelix, put it in range and then Nidoqueen be able to take it out, or even Lantern turn 1, blowing it away as it tries to set up hazards, it's going to be amazing. I just really hope I don't miss my Hydro. What is it these days? 80% chance? Like, that's a pretty good roll. I just hope. After all those Magmasorb issues. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of the team, whether you would change anything about the team heading into this battle. Don't forget to check out CJ's channel and check out his side of this whole team building process. The battle will be up tomorrow. I'm very excited. The Verde Incarnate, he's feeling pretty good. I have been very impressed with his battling style. I legit thought last week that the battle against Carl was lost, and somehow that was brought back by this man, the Boogeyman. He's coming to get you. But I definitely feel like this could be the MVP this week. Being able to counter the Spiritomb is going to be the big thing. And I think this set is just going to break CJ's team apart. CJ's team apart is what I meant to say. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As I said, like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. I am the Verd, and I'm out this bitch.